All right, more from South by Southwest, and you can tell this is kind of a cool thing. We planned it. The setting with the stage behind us. Okay, we didn't plan it, just kind of worked out that way. Very excited to talk to this artist because the record company that he is on is just cool, man. Red Bull recording artist, Awolnation, but here's Aaron from Awolnation. What's going on, man? Aaron Bruno.
How you doing?
Can I tell you that, very nice to meet you. And
that was a weird handshake.
Huh?
We just had a weird handshake.
Yeah, well, the little of the finger. I didn't do it on purpose.
If that's a fisheye, you saw it, but if not.
A couple of drinks and who knows?
Right.
It's South by Southwest. Have you been to something like this before? You hear it before?
I've never been to South by. I've always wanted to come, but I didn't want to go unless we're playing because it's very expensive. You know what I mean? So it was like, we got to see a couple cool bands last night. Got to see our friends in the Sounds. Got to see the Foo Fighters and Fits in the Tantrums, Inter-Party System. So yeah, it's a little bit of an anxiety attack, honestly. If you're like me and you get a little claustrophobic, it gets a little bit stuffy, if you will. You know?
Yeah, you know, but I mean, I've been to these before, being from Texas, and but I've never, like, you know, this is my first time to actually like cover it like this.
Right.
So it's cool to see this side of South by Southwest,
right,
which is a lot of the musicians here. It's funny, you can be walking down the street, there's Dave Grohl,
right,
or
I saw Michael Stipe in the airport.
Yeah.
And I smiled at him, and he totally shined me, obviously. You know, he was very focused and intense, you know.
He didn't give you his number?
I was like, what's your frequency, Kenneth? You know?
But Jake Gyllenhaal could be walking down the street. Danny DeVito is here. Ashton Kutcher is here. Yeah, they're all here.
Danny DeVito, the penguin. The best penguin ever.
I forgot about that role.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're here and you're playing some shows, and you got to just be excited because there's a lot of momentum. Right off the top, got to ask, Red Bull record. Just got to be cool to be a part of that, man. You get free Red Bull.
We do get free Red Bull if we want, but you can only have so many before you freak out, you know. But you know, the cool thing about them is, you know, I've been in a few other different signed bands in my life, and you know, there's a lot of having to compromise your art and all the cliche things you hear and all the horror stories you hear about being signed to a major label, and none of those things seem to happen with them. And one of the reasons I was comfortable signing a deal with them is that they wanted to take, you know, the art that I created and let me do that and not compromise it ever. And you know, they don't want me to, like, you know, have a Red Bull can on stage or anything like that to promote them, because you know, they don't need that, you know. So I'm just happy to have the opportunity to release music, you know, and have it not be compromised. God knows I've made a lot of songs that never even got to see the light of day, that they're just sitting on my hard drive back home, that certain things happened that made it so they weren't able to be released. So I'm just very grateful and humbled that I got to make a record that actually came out, first and foremost.
And it is to stifle your creativity is what it sounds like. Under the Influence of Giants, of course, is a project that you were a part of. Big fan, so I got to give you props on that.
Thank you.
Seriously, so when I knew we were going to talk to you today, I was like, oh yeah, okay,
right,
cool, right on. But like, it sounds like this is like you kind of breaking out of a creative shell with this part of your career, and it seems to be like you're a little bit more excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of the pattern of life, you know. We all go through different ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and before we signed this deal, I was probably at a lower point in my life for sure, having the Giants kind of break apart and fall, you know, grow in different directions, and sort of fueled the fire that ended up being a lot of the songs on this record, and a lot of the lyrics and motivation and passion came from I don't want to say darker time, but definitely a lower time in my life. And like I said, the record came out yesterday, I think, and it's pretty crazy that it's out. You know?
Yeah, you actually were digital yesterday, and the CD's out on the 29th, which we're very excited about. Megalithic Symphony.
Yes.
I had to write it down because that's
a tongue twister.
Cool name, man. Where did that come from?
You know, there's a lot of megalithic structures throughout history that are kind of unexplainable. You know, the pyramids, the Stonehenge. Certain things that don't make sense that seem like they kind of were put here. And you know, I know that there's people out there that know where the stuff came from, but the general public don't know. And that's kind of how I feel, I guess, maybe about some of these songs, because I never sat down and thought I'm going to write a fast song or this or that kind of song. It just kind of comes to me, you know, in the shower or when I'm surfing back home or whatever. So it just seemed fitting to name the record Megalithic Symphony.
Aaron from Awolnation is with us, and obviously, and I read this, I think I already know the answer, but is it true, the AWOL part of it coming from growing up, or you just always like...
Well, my name's Aaron, and you know, me and all my buddies thought that we were like incredible freestyle rappers in high school, which we obviously were not. but we had fun with it, and that was just the name that I kind of, someone gave it to me or I gave it to myself. Either way, ended up being AWOL, because also, you know, I'm really big on, you know, wanting to be able to. I think true freedom in this life is being able to do what you want to do. I know we all have to do stuff we don't want to do for work and whatever to get us, you know, pay the bills. And every once in a while we have to do that stuff. But for the most part, I try to only be in situations I want to be with, you know.
Right.
For example, this interview, I enjoy talking to you, and this is a great thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it, you know. And so that's sort of the whole concept behind Awolnation. We just want to create sort of a musical place for people to escape to whenever they want.
I told you about the video, which I order at all hours of the day and night on demand, and you got to get this, see this thing, find it somewhere.
On demand is in like
like cable, like Comcast.
Oh,
you know, it's
okay,
like it's
in Time Warner and all
yeah,
that.
but you're like one of the big selections,
cool.
man. And so we were, my friend
So
and
that
I
means
were.
my parents can do that. That's
Yes.
really cool. I'm
No,
gonna text my
it's
mom.
like no, it's on there, dude. And
Right.
I'm like on sale, and I'm like, dude. This is, I mean, we knew the record a while ago,
Right.
and it's like, dude, this is the ADD song.
Right,
and
right.
I'm like, bro, so anyway, yeah, if you got a spike, it's because I've been ordering it like
Yeah, okay,
nonstop.
good,
But all right, sale, blame it on the ADD. Let's talk about that, because everybody says they have ADD, including me, and you probably admit it as well. This is the way it is now.
Well, ADD to me is like sort of one of those, I don't know, maybe, what's the best way to say this without being too offensive or controversial? Basically, sometimes I wonder if ADD is a real condition, or if it's sort of a nice excuse, you know, for people who maybe are a little bit more artistic thinking, you know. Sometimes I wonder if it is ADD or if it's just sort of the way some of us are, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, when I was in 9th grade, my grades were terrible, obviously. I was always thinking about songs and surfing and not the stuff that I was being told, because I didn't, you know, I don't believe that something's the truth just because someone says it is, you know. And that's how I felt with all my teachers growing up. I had some great teachers, don't get me wrong, but so I had, like, my parents had me tested to see if I had ADD because my grades were so bad, and it turns out I did, or whatever. And you know, the doctor wanted me to take Ritalin,
yeah.
And I tried it, and I hated how I felt, so I was like, nope, not for me. And so you know, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. The lyric, you know, none of the lyrics are meant to be taken so literally ever. You know, it's sort of they're all metaphors for certain things that I've gone through, and I think a lot of people can relate to some of the lyrics and seem to be identifying with that lyric in particular. But I don't mean anything too serious by it, other than I'm posing the question. It's sort of like, you know, admitting. I think America tends to blame a lot of stuff on ADD these days, you know, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm just throwing out the concept of it, I guess.
No, and that's what I said even when I asked you that. I was
Right.
like, blame it on the ADD. So really,
Right.
that's
Right.
because how many times do people use that in common expression? You put into
Oh
a
man,
song.
I just have ADD. Sorry, I'm late. Sorry, I
Yeah,
missed a meeting or whatever.
it works. It works. Sorry I didn't show up for work today. I have ADD.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, but that's how it is. Look, Aaron from Awolnation, we're excited to see you play here in Austin. Congratulations on playing your first South by Southwest, and I know we're going to see a lot of you. And the video's slamming, man.
Thank you, man.
So, and his parents should actually order the video, I think.
I'm sure my mom will 50 times now that she knows, you know.
Cool, man. All right, here's
Thank
the
you.
handshake. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Cool. More from South by Southwest coming up.